Alright, this video here is for my prediction, prophecy if you will. Things are grim. Things are not looking good, and things are not good at all. They're not going to be going well here probably within the next 5, maybe 10 years. What I've said in my other videos has already came to pass, that Putin would betray Trump. Putin on national TV said that he's very happy that Trump is going through these trials, and he hopes that Trump won't become president so that he doesn't have to stop the war in Ukraine. I said that in my other video that would happen. Now what's looking like it's going to happen is this war between the United States and Iran. I'm not sure, but I think it will. There are forces behind the curtain, like a Wizard of Oz type of thing going on. Somebody's pulling the, not just somebody, but a group or an entity is pulling the strings behind a black curtain which nobody can see behind other than a pair of shoes, and is trying to force war. Okay. My other prediction is that I don't know if Trump's going to get into office again or not. I think he will. I can't predict that and be sure about it, but I think he will. And that's going to upset a lot of folks everywhere. But I'm very sure after he's done being president, if he does become president again, within, I'd give it the next 10 years, by about 2035, Europe is going to betray the United States. Europe is going to get together as a whole and say, we're done listening to you people. Maybe 2040. Maybe. Somewhere between 2030 and 2040. I feel that's probably a little better of a prediction. That's going to happen like that. Europe is going to betray the United States. We already know, and we've already been talking about it in the United States for the last, I don't know, probably 5 years, that China's been wanting to invade the United States. China's wanted to take over the United States. I mean, they're already here. There's already been headlines and news about their operatives here, about PLA troops training in Canada, about their tanks in Mexico, about how Hunter Biden is, and the other guy, Hunterwell, I don't remember. Swalwell, there you go, Swalwell. Laying with Chinese spies down in bed, doing their dirty thing, and trading United States top secret secrets for a female piece of candy, if you know what I mean. They lay in bed and have a good old time for secrets. Sweet nothings, whispers. What can China learn from the United States? Everything, because Hunter Biden and Eric Swalwell have told them just about everything, and not only that, the China spy balloon over the United States. Oh well. But I think sooner or later that Europe's going to have enough of the United States, and the United States is going to be on its own, and the United States is going to crumble. Crumble and fumble and fall over itself and bust its head, and that's going to be the end of it. I think that's really what's going to happen. I can't give a precise time, but I think between 2030 and 2040 that this event in the world is going to happen. That's why I feel in my gut. That's why I see in my vision. And you should know I'm not Christian. You should know I don't get visions from your Christian God. I'm a God of my own. I've already claimed that more than a dozen times. I knew since I was out of my mom's womb who I was. I just forgot over time who I was because Christianity was forced upon me. I was robbed of my identity thanks to Christianity in a time of period in my life. But I'm not Christian. I despise Christianity. I digress on that because that's not what this video is about. This video is about what I'm saying is most likely going to happen within the time frame that I'm giving between 2030 and 2040. Europe is going to say we had enough of the United States and just kind of do like this example here, like get away from me. We're through trading with you. We're through with everything of you. We're through being dictated by you. Okay, that's just nice and easy. Push them out of the way. Just get away from me. Europe is probably tired already of being dragged into the wars that the United States are trying to inflict just because it's the United States problem. Just like this. I've been making my own comments on YouTube and other videos. I'm going to make this very clear in this video here. I do not stand with Palestine. I do not stand with Israel. Neither one. I'm not a terrorist, and I don't support terrorism. I don't support these Israelis because it's the fault of the country of the United States who is made this problem a mess, and I'll explain to you why. Alright? After World War II, the United States told Palestine, we are going to put the Jew in your land, and we're going to call it Israel. Foreign occupation. Palestine said no, and this is all historical. You can even look it up. Palestine pretty much said no, but it doesn't really mention, but Palestine didn't have a choice. Look at the time and the era of what was going on. The United States just won the war over Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. Japan just got 2 bombs laid on its head from the United States, and the Nazis were defeated, and Europe was really gathered together, still up in arms, and the United States said, you know what, we got to put a place for these people, and Palestine, you're it. Because they're Hebrews, and we recognize as Christians that you are in our way. We're going to do God's work, and you're going to be in the way, so get out of the way, okay? By military force and by threat, the United States forced Palestine out of the way and made Israel rise again. That's what happened. That's why we can call the Israelis of this time foreign settlers. Why? If you call me wrong and you want to, get exasperated at me about it, do your history, do Roman history, and look up the Emperor Trajan. The Roman ruler of the time sided with the Palestinians to get the Palestinians that land after the Jewish revolt I made it on my, I put a little thing about it on my Instagram. Rome's war with Israel in the year of 67. Okay? So after that, and Trajan took the throne of Rome, established Palestine as Palestinian. Well, what's wrong with that? Rome had nothing to do with that. Well, Rome had everything to do with it. Because the Christians didn't listen to their Christ either. Christ said, if you read that Bible, which I call Zacharias, all right? Christ said, render unto Caesar what's Caesar. Trajan was Caesar at the time. That's not rendering unto Caesar what's Caesar's. Christians took what was Caesar's. Yes, they did. Obeyed the laws of the land, and the Christians didn't do that either. Very simple. So, in essence, the Christians stole from Caesar again, defied the laws of the land, and pushed the Jew into Palestinian land that was given to them. It is the fault of the Christians in the United States that has caused the conflict in today's realm. That's why I can say that I don't take either side. But the true fault lies in the root of the cause. Because a lot of people just look at the cause. They don't look at the root of the problem. The root of the problem is the United States. The United States caused the problem because the Christians decided what they wanted to do was best and screw everybody else and their decisions and their opinions. Christians didn't want to hear nothing other than what they were talking about. Nobody else mattered. But they didn't like that when everybody else had something to say when Christianity was first starting out in the world. But they turned into the people that they've hated. And now this whole global catastrophe is because of the Christians. Christians are the ones who are foul. The Christians are the one who started this war. The Christians are the one who actually started up the stirring of this fight. The Christians are the ones who actually made the blunder, which everybody now is suffering because the Middle East is in turmoil. Why? Because what the Christians did. And I'll state my fact, which I believe is true. If we roll back history just a little bit, go back to World War II. If America would have taken in the Jew instead of pushing him onto the Palestinian, gave the Jew land in wherever, Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania, any place that would have been fertile and good for these people to have. Just gave them a section of land. America could have done like he'd done to the Native American. Gave him some land, gave him a piece, and said, look, here you go, be happy. Or even integrated them into society. It says, hey, you don't need a piece of land, just come over here and we'll treat you as citizens, no big deal. America done that before for the Italian, for the English, for the Irish, the German, the French, in the past, during the colonial days and moving up into the 1800s, up and even into World War I. The United States took in a whole bunch of European refugees. And even during the American Civil War, the Union took in so many refugees, and then started saying, hey, it's good we just put these refugees to war to fight for us, and then, we can give them money and all that later on. The United States made a precedence about that. They could have done the same with the Jew, and we wouldn't have had all these global conflicts in the Middle East. We wouldn't have all these problems. The world, I mean, we as the world would not have the problems we have today if the United States and the miserable Christians would have made a better choice. But no, the Christians in the United States took in the defeated Nazis instead of taking in the Jews. Because the United States wanted the technology of the Nazi and wanted global power, some type of strength, He-Man strength, Samson strength, whatever you want to call it, technological advancements. Just saying. They wanted war instead of peace. Now we have problems. We as the world have problems because of the United States. Freedom of speech. Right now, as an American citizen, I have freedom of speech. Okay? Am I speaking against my government? Sure I am. I'm making a protest. I don't like the way my government is running things. I don't like the way the United States has handled the past. I don't like how it's handling the future. It's not looking for peace. It's not looking for opportunity and situations to better the global situation. It's looking for war and to trample on any other nation like a grape vineyard. How before the grape presses were made for, I guess, conventional ways. I mean, the old ways in the 1800s and such, people used those big buckets and used their feet and stomped on the grapes. Just crush them. Well, just saying that's the United States and it's crushing the grapes, and the grapes are metaphorically every other country in the world. Every other country, I'm saying, is getting tired of that nonsense. There's going to be a gathering against the United States of a lot of nations. They're tired of the crap. They're tired of a dictator. Especially a dictator that's not one in their own favor. UK, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, and forgive me for not mentioning all the other countries in Europe that are under the yoke of the United States, but I recognize you all too. It's pretty pathetic when the United States is just hogging all of the glory and all the attention and all of the money and all the fame and glory until it's pretty bad. Because the United States wouldn't like being dictated by Europe. That's why there was an American Revolution, because the United States did not want to be dictated by a European power. But to turn the tide, 200 and some years later, the United States is dictating Europe? So what? We don't like what you're doing, so we're going to do to you what we thought you were doing to us, and you're going to like it? Come on, man. That's dogmatic and that's trash. You don't do something to somebody else that you don't like being done to you. What comes around goes around. That's trash. That's toxic, that's filth, that's dirty. That's low. You don't do to other people what you don't like being done to you. You don't go to your neighbor's house and kick their dog because you wouldn't like it if somebody rode up and shot your dog or kicked your dog. You'd be furious. But why do you go do that to somebody else? Because you think it's funny, but it's not funny when it happens to you? That's a metaphorical lesson for the United States. I mean, the United States didn't like it when it was done to them, but yet right now, 200 and some years later on, the United States is doing that to everybody else. Which was not meant to happen, but it did happen. I hope somebody gets something out of this. Have a good one.